Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are Podcast.
This is The Act Out, Season 1, Episode 6, Angelia Walker.
If this is your first time checking out the podcast network, please head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast. And with that said, on to the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to The Act Out. From open mic to the big stage, comedians tell us how stories were made. My name is Doc. I'm here today with the amazing, the spectacular, the super talented and hilarious Angelia Walker. How are you doing, Angela?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. I'm so excited to talk to you. You're one of my favorite comics in the DFW scene. You're hilarious. You always crush it on stage. You're so nice to everybody, so I really appreciate that. Oh. I believe I came off the stage at TK's and you were there. Was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said hi to me. But yeah.
I got to check you out. You had the mask on.
Yeah. I was being safe then, but now it's whatever. But so anyhow, we're going to talk about Angelia's career in comedy. But first of all, where are you from?
I am born and raised McKinney, Texas, right outside of Dallas, north of DFW. Not the new McKinney, the rich, fancy McKinney, the old Piggly Wiggly 7-Eleven country McKinney. Yeah.
Right. And so you've been in Texas your whole life?
Yeah, I'm one of 15. My mother had 50.
Insane. I read that earlier. Insane. 15 children. Where you
I'm number 6 of 15.
6 of 15?
Yeah, 2 sets of twins.
Wow. I was sitting there going, 15 children? Your mom might have been pregnant her whole life. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of crazy because even though when I say the number, it doesn't feel like that, you know? And I guess also, too, you know, there's different groups, like an older group and a younger group. But yeah.
That's
so
wild.
At the most, probably my mom might have had like 10 kids in the house at a time, but we weren't all born 15 at one time. You know what I mean? But you know, and it was a fun life. You know what I'm saying? I had an amazing mother. You know, sometimes we want to judge things by material things and that sort of thing, and she was amazing just because she was real. She was a real woman, just tackling you know, having the responsibility of this many children. But I think the best part about her was that this woman, to have this, and also she was the first Black to graduate from McKinney High School.
Wow.
So she was very smart. She had a point she wanted to make sure that we were educated and thought more of ourselves than other people might have thought of us. Self-esteem was very important, you know. Sometimes she would take you down to bring you back up. but it's just like the stories, like I have stories, like we had a dog that babysat us, you know what I'm saying? Like,
really?
Like some of the stories I tell on stage, people think I'm making this stuff up, and no, these are real life events. Like the dog, she had trained the dog to, like, if he got up, he would make us sit down.
No.
Yes.
Oh my, what kind of dog was it?
A mutt. Best dog in the world. A mutt is the best dog in the world. All these chickapoos and picatoos and all that. I want a mutt. Just mix it all up. Those are some of the best people. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a good mix of everything, of good and all. Like, if you get too pure, those are the dogs get sick all the time. Got heart murmurs, can't breathe.
Oh.
There's some dogs that are born and they only have a nose. You gotta give the dog Dimetap. Come on now. you gotta give the dog. He has allergies. Are you kidding me? The mud. You can give him Captain Crunch. You can give him pancakes. You can give him dog food.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the dog ate what we ate. Grits. Does not matter.
I've got to ask. As a kid, were you introverted? Were you very excited? Were you the class clown? Where'd you
I would say I was introverted. Keep in mind, of the 15, right? I was the one that people kind of overlooked. I would just sit, watch, and just observe. Everybody, all my other brothers and sisters were very athletic. I was regular athletic. My brothers and sisters are like extreme. Like my mother raced with Women Rudolph. I have a brother that played for the NFL. My sister Tammy, she played for the WNFL. They went to Texas Tech together. My brother Gary, like all of my brothers went to college on athletic scholarships, but my mom said your athleticism will take you to your education. You know what I'm saying? I went on a academic scholarship. So awesome. And my major was sports medicine.
So that observation, though, your comedy, that really speaks to it because you're a storyteller and you're an amazing storyteller. But to be a storyteller, you have to be able to observe what others can't see. And so that must have played into it quite heavily.
Yeah, and also, too, my grandfather was a story. He's a Baptist preacher. Like, that's where I got the storytelling from. Like, my granddaddy and my mother, amazing storytellers. So like if something happened and you were there, right? You saw it, but then when my mom would come back and tell the story, she made it like 3,000 times better.
Yes.
Like, and when my granddad would preach, I would get all the lessons that he had, not based on like just going straight, but from the stories that he would tell based around that scripture. You know what I'm saying? And it would give you a different light on the scripture if you just read it by yourself. He would put you into that world, let you see the different aspects and how that scripture could work this way or this way, but put it into your time in your life. And also to he would call us and prank call us and all of that. So I think that's where like the storytelling and just making it bigger than life so that people keep people's attention. Most definitely my grandfather and my mother.
So it sounds like your grandfather was a huge comedic influence on you.
Yes. Now, not yet. Like looking back, yeah, because he was, when I tell you, I think that's even the problem with men today. And I love men totally. But like with men today, like it's hard for me to see a man and there's certain traits I don't see in you to see you as a partner or to see you as somebody that could be my connect. Because if you think about it, my grandfather never yelled at anybody, very quiet. His demeanor was so regal. You know what I'm saying? If he told us to stop, we would stop if we were being bad. Not because we were scared of him, but because we respected him.
Yeah, respect is huge.
Respect.
It's so big.
And I would love to have respect for a man and just how he carries himself. But nowadays, it's kind of, there's starting to be a gray line between feminine and masculine energies. It's like,
there definitely is.
Yeah, please, sirs, if you see me out, do not ask me to buy you a drink.
Yeah, that's weird.
First off, I'm gonna have to buy you 2 drinks because you're gonna have a drink to enjoy and you're gonna have to use that drink to wash your mouth out. I'm just saying, you don't want me to buy you a drink. The price of that drink in your eyes is $10, but
no, it's
I'm gonna buy you 2 drinks.
Enjoying this episode? Go check out Geekster, a dating and friends app for geeks that focuses on common interests as a way to make meaningful connections. Download today on the App Store or click the link in the description to find out more. Geekster, this is what happens when nerds collide. Geekster, available on iOS and Android.
Did you see comedians when you were a kid, or did you know what comedy was, so you don't have any influences at all?
So for me, my mother, but like I'm tell you, I was so sheltered as growing up. Like comedy, I didn't see Richard Pryor till I was grown, like in my 30s. Like,
oh wow!
But like growing up, Bill Cosby, Steve Martin, Carol Burnett, like Lucy Ball, those were the comedians that I saw, you know what I'm saying? Because we weren't allowed, like my oldest brother, Darn, would go watch Eddie Murphy and then come back and tell us the story of like Eddie Murphy's set, but he would clean it up for us. So I never, like when I tell you I was very, very sheltered. So, but just living in our life, that was just the comedy. I lived it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So the first time you went on stage was an accident.
Most definitely.
And I love this story. You were supposed to go to a poetry reading because that's something that you've done your entire life. Is right?
Yeah, I write poetry. I love poetry. I love wordplay and all that. So I'd written this poem, and Mama Michelle, she's a comedian locally here, but her and I worked together. And this is when she first, she'd been in it longer than me, but she said, hey, there's a show I'm doing, and we're doing poetry. And she said it was a variety show. And I was just wondering, can you do your poems? And I was like, I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So a couple of days before, she goes, oh, we're not doing poetry, it's comedy. And I was like, I don't know anything about comedy. She's like, don't worry, it's a 3-minute set. Just make something up. It'll be fun. It's for all first-time people trying to do comedy. And she's like, whoever wins gets $100. And I was like, $100? It was like I had some kids. I was like, okay, this could be some extra money for me. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I went up there, and around the time that it happened, it was school time. You know how you have to fill out all the paperwork and stuff? So I was so agitated by that. I did a set based off starting school and filling out paperwork and how they got the kids all traumatized. If they don't turn the paperwork in, your mama don't love you. Just your mom must not really be invested in your education if she can't make sure that you fill out all 37 documents like me. So I won the contest.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever went up was that show. The second time I touched the stage was here.
At the Addison Improv?
The second time
Wow.
I ever touched, when it was, at the time, Nanette Lee, Fat Tuesday. And she was on the radio. It was a big deal. Like, it was a full live audience. This wasn't no open mic. You just tried a joke out. This was a live audience. And that was the second time I went up.
What did it feel like the first time, the second time? Were you nervous at all? Did you have butterflies?
I'm still nervous with butterflies.
I can't believe that. You've been doing it for 17 years, correct?
Yeah, I think 2005. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I didn't even think about the years. Because I got, keep in mind, I have children, I work. So just the whole gamut of working and children, like, I didn't get to go to open mics. Like the regular open mics, Fat Tuesday was my open mic. So every other Tuesday was my opportunity to go on stage.
So you would get like one day a week because your life was so busy.
Yeah, but every other week.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was like, for me, that's why I think my journey might be a little bit different than other comedians. Because other comedians, they would do the open mics going here and there. I didn't have that opportunity. I didn't have that chance because I'm focused on my children and work. So I made it to the point where I was able to go every other week, Fat Tuesday, like here. And it wasn't too far from where I stayed. So that gave me opportunity to come in and go out, and that's how I started. And then from there, people in the audience was like, hey, can you do my private show?
No way.
Yeah. So I was getting work off of Fat Tuesday.
Off Fat Tuesday. That's crazy.
So because what it was is like, even though it was open mic, it was professional comedians coming, trying their comedy skills out. And they had karaoke. It was just an event.
Yeah.
Like back when it was just like booming, you could look in the audience and it would be Fred Hammond in the audience. You look in the audience, it'd be like Joe Torre. Like, it would just be different people, like superstars. Erykah Badu. You never know who would be in the audience for Fat Tuesday. And this is on a Tuesday. And it would be packed.
Yeah, I've heard that it was seriously one of the most poppin' things ever. Because Jay, who's the manager here, he used to work them. And he would tell me they were crazy.
Yes, it was bananas. And the thing about it is I think it sharpened my ability was the crowd. If they loved you with all their heart. If they didn't like you, I see men go out the room and cry. It's like a make or break type thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think it made me like, I wanted to do good, and that right there, it was a point to where like, I literally would see dudes cry. You grown, sir. I see one dude call his mama. He's like, Mom, is this really for me, Mom? I don't even know if this is for me, Mom. I'm just...
So did you ever bomb? Or did you just kill it the whole way through? Because I could see you just from day one killing it.
So I'm waiting. I don't even know how to say it. Like, I've never been booed at. I've never been none. I've been in a crowd where it was few people, but the jokes hit. Like, after I walked off the stage, I thought that it wasn't all that great, but they were like, "Oh, I enjoyed it." I said, "Really?" Because I didn't hear you laugh. Like, so I've never had like a major bomb.
Never.
I have not. But it could come. I would never be as arrogant or cocky to think that would not happen to me.
I mean, but after 17 years, and your act is so mesmerizing, it's so magnetic.
Oh,
it's like
thank you.
You become like you're one of the best storytellers I've ever seen on stage. Like,
wow.
So whenever you get up there and you bring so much energy too, you know what I mean? And it's a positive energy, even when you're talking about things that are negative,
right.
Or like you're mad at somebody or somebody. You still look at it from a positive place, or you just call them out for their stupidity, which
right.
I love.
Right.
I love it so much.
And I think that makes me different because a lot of people, it amazes me how so many people like female comics. A lot of women don't even like female comics because there's always a stigma against us that we all say the same things. We all talk about the same things. We're going to male bash. I don't male bash. I will tell you about a particular story about a man that was not right with me. He was the asshole. You know what I'm saying? But men in general, I have sons. I have friends. I have a father. There are so many inspirational men in my life. Why would I bash men? Right. You know what I'm saying? But I can call out, like you said, I will call out that person for their BS.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So, but I love men. And I like right now, there's so many men that they feel like there's an attack on them. And I don't get it. And so when they see a woman come and say, oh, or even I hate anybody that introduces a a female comedian, please stop saying, are y'all ready for a female?
Yeah.
I hate that because you change the trajectory of the room, because now they're expecting either I'm going to male bash or girl power. I don't know. Just say, that's why my motto is focus on the funny. Focus on the funny. Don't worry about my age. Don't worry about my color, my skin, or all those things that you think you want to anticipate about me, because that's not what you're going to get. You're just going to get me.
And that's the problem is, but we play within stereotypes. So,
Correct.
And even as comedians, we do that because we need shortcuts to get to. So whatever your preconceived notions are, when I say a man in a trench coat, maybe he's a spy, I'm taking a shortcut. But you are different in that sense. So you bring everybody in for the fun. And it's a show. It is such a good show. You put on such a good show. It's a performance, But it's a personal performance. And I was wondering, does the poetry, does that correlate with the comedy? With your wordplay, do you bring that in at all?
Every now and then I've actually said one of my poems, done a poem before. I've mixed it every now and then, but it also depends on the audience. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a younger audience, if it's an older audience, that plays a part for me. But I have used my poetry. Like I said, to me, this world is hard enough. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, it's been so many times where I've met somebody and they're scared I'm going to make fun of them, or they're scared that I'm going to say something bad about them. And I don't ever want anyone, you come to a comedy show, to feel like I'm going to attack you or hurt your feelings to get a laugh out the audience. You know what I'm saying? And even for myself, based on like you said, stereotypes and body imaging and everything, I am not that thing, So even myself mentally, sometimes when I get on stage, I have to talk the good talk to myself, because I'm worried, they could see my stomach, or maybe I'm not pretty today. I go through that and I have to go past that. So why would I put somebody in that position to feel uncomfortable or upset because they think I'm gonna make fun of them? Yeah. So now a lot of times if I do address the audience person, it's because what I say is actually a good thing. And I'm like, okay, I see you with you just looking good, smelling good. I would rather raise their levels up, their vibration up, than to take them down. I
love that. Right. I'm all about positivity.
Right.
And bringing positive vibes is hard because it's easier to start a fire than it is to build a building.
Correct.
But I always feel the same way. Like, I want to bring positive energy. And you bring that when you walk in the room. You say hi to everyone. You talk to, the managers. You talk to the staff. You talk to everybody. But
the staff is so positive to me. Like, and maybe it's a reciprocity. But the minute I come in, they are so, I love the improv staff, but even other comedy clubs I go to, I make sure, because my grandfather always taught me that from the person that's washing the dishes up to the manager, you treat everybody with the same amount of respect until they don't give you your respect. Yes. So from the get-go, I'm starting off, we're all on the same plane. My mom used to say, Holly Berry boo-boos. I said, what? My mom, and I was like, what does that mean? Everybody, everybody has everybody. So nobody's better than you. You're not better than anyone else. And you take that with you. But I promise you, when I come here anytime, I love that. This almost feels like my home place, because this is kind of where I started. And I love this stage. This is like I feel so comfortable on this stage. The acoustics, everything about this stage it just feels home to me. So right when I walk in, and I've gone through so many different staffing people that it doesn't even matter. They're each and every one of them are just ready to give me a hug, ready to smile. And it's the reciprocity, because also too, I'm ready to give them a hug. I'm ready to smile. And that's better than me coming in with an attitude, just being disrespectful. They're going to do what you ask, but please believe you might get a boogie in your drink. I just always felt like if you're going to get where they would, I've being polite to people will have someone go out of their way for you rather than just give you what you need. You see what I'm saying? Like, it makes a difference how you treat people and how you want to be treated. Do the same.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, they have that energy when they see you, because not every comedian gets that.
Right. I thought that was crazy. I thought that all of them did that. And then one, it was a particular, but they said, they basically said, man, they were saying something about that is, like, I can't even get or whatever. And then right when they said it, somebody came like, hey, Angela, here's the water. And I was like, thank you. And they're like, and I said, well, you need to get your attitude together. Yeah. I said, you're rude. I told them, I said, you come off rude. So stop being like that. Yeah. and they changed a little bit how they were, but they had to see it. Sometimes you don't see, and you have to be accountable for who you are and who your actions are. That is one of the hardest things, accountability of self, because you want to go ahead and be like, no, you got to understand I did it. No, you did it because you were wrong. Just admit it and just work on it.
Yeah, that was definitely a growing pain that I had to go through.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's just Duck jumping in here real quick to say thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. If you're enjoying it, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, or iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And if you get a chance, head over to our social media. All links can be found in the description. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast. And with that, back to the podcast.
What was it like the first time you hosted?
Hosting, so it's kind of weird. Like for me, like I said, I started here, right? But then I started getting private gigs, and they were like, "Well, you know,
it's insane." I love that. I love that. It just shows how good you are. Like that's a private gig is after you've mastered the stage, and then you start getting the gigs.
Right.
So for you to be so good at the beginning, you know.
So I think a lot of people assumed things like they assumed that I was at a different level because the people I was around. And that is so important. And that's a key mark to know too. Surround yourself around people that make you look better. You know, you don't want to be the smartest in the room, the best in the room, because if you're around people that are genuinely good people and like that talent, the mixture of talent that Nanette would have come in, well, if I'm mixed in with them and I'm doing just as good or, you know, better than the people I'm with, she's got to be on that level, even if, you know, really I wasn't.
But you were good enough to get private parties,
yes.
So you really were on a good place. Maybe you didn't have the time at that point. But.
Yeah, and I think, and then I didn't know the word. I'm almost like, because people keep asking me certain questions about with the comedy and stuff, I almost feel like a person that plays piano by ear.
Very nice. So you just picked it up
from watching and looking, and so when I would say, and then I start asking questions. I was like, so, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times me starting out, people wouldn't help me. Like if I asked questions, they were like, "Oh, you know, whatever." And so when I started out, I started noticing little things. So a lot of times I come to comedy shows. I don't come to get on stage. This is my classroom. I come and watch and learn through other comedians. I think you had Lamar Jones. I love watching Lamar. Has some of the best facial expressions. Like he could tell a joke just based off of his face.
Yes.
Rudy Rush is so good at like. He's very stout, you know what I'm saying? And how he places himself on the stage is amazing.
Yeah, his
energy comes out just from his stance, you know what I'm saying? So I watched that and I learned. I also learned what not to do from watching comedy. You know what I mean? But then I started picking up on the words. So like right now for me, I need to go back and read a book, just like somebody that did piano by ear, but then they went back and started reading music. Right. That's where I'm at now.
Kind of piggybacking off that, what is your writing process like then? Do you have one? Do you sit down and... Is there a writing process, or do you?
So my brother is mad at me, and because it's in my brain. He's like, Angela, you got to stop doing that. You got to start putting your stuff on paper or recording or whatever. So I'll look up and I'll see a piece of paper that says Panini, and that's my joke. It says, the paper says Panini. So I see Panini, that lets me know, okay, it's basically a joke about a big girl that her stomach, it was hot and makes paninis. Because because when she squishes her stomach together, like if she bends down and it presses the sound, you put bread in there, presses it together, makes a sound when she pulls it out, it's a panini, and the stretch marks make the grill marks on the sound. Like, who thinks of that? But like, I'll be looking at something, and then like the other day I was watching Mortal Kombat. I saw
number one, awesome. All right, I didn't expect you to say that. That's great.
I'm a dork.
Oh,
like
awesome.
I'm a big dork. Like I'm a nerd. I was in the band. I was in UAll competitions, Dragon Ball Z, anime, cool. All of that. Like stuff I'm not supposed. People don't think. So into it. But I was watching that, and then I was thinking because you know when they're like finish them, round 1, right? So I was like, I want some Mortal Kombat monkey. Like I want to get a dude. And it's like you have to wrestle. If you want some, you got to wrestle me to get it. Like round 1. And so that's a joke I'm working on. It came in my brain. I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'll throw it out just to see if the crowd catches it. I'll try a joke out during a live performance, because the thing about it is most of my jokes,
they segue well. They really do.
Yeah, I'm really into segues. I love because it's like that's how you take them on the journey.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the biggest things about watching you is you feel like it's flowing. There's a flow to the and never is there a break, because you will connect whatever you end, but not in that weird like and in other news.
It just flows with it.
It's just like, oh, that's the story. But I was wondering if that's something you did, like tried out new material on stage. And
I do old material, new material, and in between material. Like if it's a joke that's just hot, or sometimes there's been time where people request a joke. But if it's a joke that's hot, sometimes I'll take it out. You know what I'm saying? And I'll put another joke that used to be hot in that spot. So there's jokes I can move, put out, take in, put out.
That is such a talent to be able to do that.
But it's based on the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is the crowd flowing? Because to be honest, I'm a blue comedian, right? Mm-hmm. But I do clean as well. So a lot of people don't know that, but I do a lot of church shows. And then when they ask me to do it, I'm like, are you sure you want me?
Have you seen my set?
we believe in you, and we know that the Lord is going to keep that devil tongue out your mouth.
It must be true, though, because you can do the shows. So.
I've done them, but when I do the shows, I will tell them. And I think that's what someone said this to me yesterday, and I never thought about it. They were like, you're so transparent. Like, if there's something I'm uncomfortable about, I'll bring it up. I won't give you a chance to bring it up. I'll bring it up. Because I remember one time I stumped my toe coming in and knocked off my toenail polish off of a big toe. And I had open-toed shoes right when I walk up. So a woman right there just looking at my toe. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do my set because she keeps looking at my toe, and I'm going to want to kick her in her face because stop looking at my toe. But
So you said something about it.
Yeah, I said, girl, I see you looking at this toe. And she's like, what? I said, I see you looking at my toe. I was like, it's a pretty toe. I said, it's been through some things. It's got character. It's got a good personality. It's just been through some things. Just leave my toe alone. Shut up, everybody. And then, or whatever it is, if it's something, because I had a suit on, I made a bad outfit choice because I had a halter top under the jacket. And I knew I wasn't taking that jacket. But the jacket was like a leather jacket. And I was like, girl, you know you're not supposed to have this leather jacket on. And the air conditioning was not working. That it was like hot in the room, the showroom.
Was this Arlington? Because the AC's always
on my gosh. I was on fire. And so I started feeling the sweat coming off my body. And I told him, I said, y'all don't know how bad I want to take it. I told him. The crowd, I said, but I got to be committed to this jacket. I don't want y'all to see my mystery meat. Because I said, you don't know my titty up here or down here. So it took once I addressed it, it took the pressure off of me. You know what I'm saying? I think I do what's called, what's the word? Like magic trick. So look at this right here, but I'm doing this right here. Yeah. That's kind of a technique I use.
I love that you say you're like a magician.
Right.
I agree with you. And like I said, it's mesmerizing. It's hypnotic to watch you on stage. You're all in. Like when you go on stage, like you can see from the beginning, you will say something and the crowd will just be on your side, and then the crowd is all in.
And sometimes it trips me out because to be honest, I'm being so transparent. Like I feel that I have the stage down, but this new world and this internet, and there's been times where I'll do a show and the crowd, I'm like, this is my crowd, but it's not. It's somebody else's crowd.
But you make it your crowd.
And that's so amazing to me. So I'm like, wow, how can I get these people to come be with me? You know what I'm saying? Because prime example, I loved her to death. It was amazing working with her, Pinky Patel. Mm-hmm. You know, she's a TikTok sensation, right? Yeah. Her crowd was basically my crowd because it's kind of like that middle-aged mother. Like, it doesn't matter the skin color. Like, it's just a mother, kids that, you know, goes in the bathroom, takes a bath, cries in her tub with a bottle of Jameson in a sippy cup that nobody, because you can't just, you know, you gotta, oh, this is mama's magic juice, you know. Those women can relate to what I'm going through. And I was just like, wow. So it just inspired me that's something I need to get my game up on that.
No, you're killing it. I love your stories because they're so human and you're so transparent, like you said. And so everyone can relate. And the big thing about the crowd, too, is you get the ladies on your side. That's when you win. Yeah. That is what, listen, comedians out there, Stop doing all your anti-women stuff, your hating women stuff. Get the ladies on your side, because that's who is really here for the show. And if they're not enjoying the show, the men are not going to be able to enjoy the show either.
And also a tidbit, even for, and I'll say this as well, for female comedians, going on stage and being provocative, you need to read your audience. So if you go on stage and you're looking provocative and your jokes really are not where they need to be, dress down until you get your material together. Because like some more, this woman dresses so sexy on stage, but also too, she can bring it with her jokes. I've seen other females come and they want the outfit to be the attention. Well, the outfit's going to get the attention, but it's not going to get you one laugh. And then you're going to look up, and because you're saying how sexy you are, and these men are uncomfortable, they don't want to look at you. They don't want to laugh, because if I laugh and my girl's like, oh, so she funny? Oh, she funny. She funny, right? Okay. We see how funny. Well, you go home, you try to hug her. Nah, let the ha girl. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make an uncomfortable feeling. A lot of women don't necessarily like, and they'll even tell you, like, I really don't like. I mean, I've had people walk right up to me and be like, I really don't like female comics, but I enjoyed you. Like, but they will say that, and it's because I think it's those things where the expectation, and sometimes like self-deprivation is okay, but when you just like, oh, my vagina fell out and oh my God, I think don't nobody want to hear that. I don't want to hear that you're cramping and you got on I don't want to hear that. I don't even want to do it for myself. Like, I don't want cramps. Like, I don't nobody want to hear that. Like, I mean, just gauge your audience is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Important.
Absolutely. I mean, what do you think sets you apart from other comedians? You've kind of talked about it a little bit, but your stage presence is amazing. Your storytelling's on point. Your jokes hit. Your tags hit. But was there an inspiration to do that, or were you just being yourself?
See, and that's the thing. Like, for me, like the things that you're saying right now, you are mesmerizing me in the fact that, like, I'm just so amazed at the words that are coming out of your mouth in reference to me. Because for me, I feel like I don't stand out.
Really?
I do. I feel like I don't stand out, and I keep trying to figure out that thing that makes me stand out, or what that thing is, like, that I can market or whatever. Because, you know, like, some people have the glasses, some people have the hair. So, and like, I've noticed, like, a lot of comedians will have that thing that you remember them, like an afro or the pants or just certain things, or they always wear a certain shirt. That doesn't really fit me.
Well, you have something. You wear the blue lipstick.
Sometimes I do. I ran out the tube. I ain't got no. And see, that blue lipstick, right? Kat Von D made this lipstick and then she discontinued. And so I was like,
just a little bit left.
And then it's funny, like you said, the blue lipstick, right? Mm-hmm. Then other people, then all of a sudden I wore a lot of bracelets, like a lot of bangles. So I got a lot of compliments on my bangles. Then I would be like a piece of jewelry that I would wear, or the jackets, or like sometimes my legs are very muscular. And so like people are like, man, you got legs, you got, you know, or whatever, but it's nothing that just is a constant. Yeah. Yeah. So
but you're the constant. I don't think you need something like that. I think you bring the energy.
Wow.
And just you on stage is just, like I said, it's something else. It's a show. Like, this headlining this show, which we should push the show.
It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving at a late night.
Oh yeah, it's
a late night show. Yeah. So this is after you're tired of your family. You know, you don't want no more chicken and dressing. You just over it, and you can come and just have a good time.
November 26th at 11:30. You got to come check out the show.
The late night show.
Do you have any advice for upcoming comedians? You've already given great advice, but like, if somebody's just starting out, like me, I'm my first year in.
Yeah.
What would you say to do? What would you say is the number one thing to focus on?
Be true to yourself, for one. I've seen so many people try to emulate somebody else or do something else, or like, even like I've had, and the minute you say F it and I'm just gonna be me, that is when things change. And I understand, like, for some people, like, it doesn't necessarily come natural, right? So you're trying to find your place. Even when you're finding your place, stay authentic to yourself, because the crowd can read when you're just, I know I can tell when someone's written a joke and when someone has been given a joke. And that's on all levels. Like, I can tell because it doesn't seem authentic to that person completely. So to me, I feel like, do not get in the habit of putting anything in your body before you go on stage, that you think you needed to get on stage.
Right.
That's how you get bad habits and get addicted to stuff. I've never done that. Like, I've always, if anybody asks me, if you drink, don't have more than 2 drinks before you go up. Maybe a shot or something like that. But do not get in the habit of getting blasted and messed up and you think that's the only way you can get on stage. That is a terrible habit, because what's going to happen if you have an interview or a opportunity to do a show last minute and you don't have that time to prep up for that? You're going to feel like you're going to bomb because you don't believe in yourself enough. You believe in that alcohol or that weed or whatever. You believe in that more than you believe in your own material. So give yourself that opportunity to believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Drink water and mind your business. Don't get into all the extra stuff. And if someone gives you some advice, no matter if it's good or bad, take it. If you feel that it is not beneficial to you, take it out. Like, don't be afraid to get criticized and take the criticism. Take it to your benefit. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody might be telling you something to hurt you. Like, and see where the message is coming from. Because some of these comedians are
it's cutthroat.
It's very cutthroat. So if they see something in you that you don't see in yourself, they will try to push you away from your purpose. And that's what I'm saying. And also, if comedy is your purpose, think about it. Am I doing this for the money? Or am I doing this that when I look on that stage into that audience and I see this person with their arms folded up and they're mad and they had a bad day? I mean, I literally look for those. And then all of a sudden I start seeing them just start leaning back. And then all of a sudden they put their hands down. And then all of a sudden they're laughing. This one woman after a show told me, you know what? I lost my mom last week. And when you were talking about your mother, or you as a mother, that reminded me how much my mother loved me and I want to thank you. Or someone will say, I didn't want to see tomorrow. Like, you don't know what mission, how important comedy is in this world. This world is so freaking hateful. And the whole purpose right now, I don't know if you realize this, is to divide us. If you believe it or not, the powers to be, the higher powers to be, they're not for the regular person. And they would rather us argue about our skin color, our preference to sexuality, our beliefs in religion. If we can keep them separate, then we can keep, we're ants right now. We're just scattered ants but if we were to unify ourselves, hey, I promise you, I have friends, I know they have a Confederate flag in their truck. It's still my friend because I know that's who he is and he knows who I am, and we can respect each other and know that we have different beliefs, but I still respect you as a person as long as you don't step on my toes or vice versa. So to the young comedians, I just say, this is a purpose. This is not for play. If you want to do it for play, then you stay in the open mics. But if you really want to make this a set purpose and you bring joy to this world and actually make a difference with your purpose, come on in, be your authentic self and get it, and focus on the funny. Just focus on your funny. That's all I got to say on that. Yeah.
I love it so much. I love the process. Somebody else clapping? I thought the ghost was clapping.
Oh, man. Yeah, there is a ghost here.
There is a ghost here.
Not even...
I don't want to talk about it either.
Yeah.
I got to come up here all the time. So.
Yeah, it's not enough people here either. Yeah.
Well, I think kind of touched on a bunch of stuff. I think we've had a great conversation.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here with me. The show is going to be November 26th at 11:30.
Yes.
Late night show. It's going to be a great show. Got to come out. You've got to come out and see Angelia Walker.
It's amazing.
And like I said, you're about to blow up. It's going to be so cool. So I'm so happy you came on the show today.
And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.
And there it is. Thank you again so much for checking out the podcast today. If you enjoyed it, head over to your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and iTunes, and give We Are Podcast Network a like. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love the other podcasts here on the We Are Podcast Network. We have We Are Bagu, a video game podcast where we talk Atari to Steam and everything between. That's me and Dr. Ethan Eastwood breaking down all that video game lore and having such a good time. Heroes, Gyros, a Dungeons and Distractions side quest. Me and the boys were playing some D&D. You can start that one from Season 1, Episode 1. It's a blast the whole way through. And I Hate Being Sober. Personal stories from epic people. I sit down with some of my favorite people of all time. We talk about their trials, their tribulations, and their journey this far. And finally, our new live video podcast, Camp/Horrorcast, where we're going to have a roundtable discussion about our favorite horror movies. That'll be available on Twitch and YouTube, streaming every Monday at 8 p.m. Check the links in the description to find out what movies we'll be watching. Also, check the links in the description for our social media. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at /We Are Podcast Network. With that said, thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. Please remember to support local comedy in any way that you can. We'll see you next time.